Yeah, well, I mean, the Germans had found, almost by accident with the Sturmgeschütz, that the Sturmgeschütz was very good at tank destruction as well as bunker destruction. And when they introduced a long barrel gun into the Sturmgeschütz, the performance and the kill ratios went way up. So this Panzer IV, Jagdpanzer IV, was meant to be the newer model of the Sturmgeschütz, and in time was meant to replace the Sturmgeschütz. That program actually was only introduced for a period of time because they would have phased this out along with all the Panzer IV production, all of the Sturmgeschütz production, and in 1945 they were already manufacturing the Jagdpanzer 38D, which is a German design version based on some of the components of the 38, but with German armour and the long barreled L70. And these were a defensive weapon, whereas the Panther or Panzer IV, any tank, is meant to be an offensive weapon where you can move into territory, where you don't have to have your line of shot all pre-calculated. You can swing your turret to deal with any threat that comes by. But with something like this, the correct usage of it is to survey the area, do good reconnaissance, and set up a position so you can defend on a line of sight, because you only have so many degrees either side. But that's a defensive weapon, the other one is an attack weapon. Okay, so we're here on the outside of the Jagdpanzer 470, the Panzer 470, and you can see that this is absolutely standard Panzer IV running gear, but it has two different wheels, the steel-tired wheels, which were introduced to save rubber. These wheels with the tires gave the best ride, but these protected those front wheels that took a heavy beating because of the heavy load of the extra weight on the front of the vehicle. And we'll now move around and look at why the extra weight is in here. You have a brand new front end on the Panzer 470, which is sloped end in comparison to the Panzer IV one, which was at 10 degrees. This one is sloped, so you have 80mm plates there, plus the weight of the long L70 gun, and that whole combination puts a lot of strain on the front of the vehicle. But it's a very clever use of a standard chassis that's been mass produced since the mid-30s. Okay, now we're lucky also to have alongside here what was in German hands a Jagdpanzer 38. This one is the post-war Swiss G13, which was an export vehicle provided by the Skoda factory, who had something like 500 of the hulls already manufactured for the Jagdpanzer 38 program. So we can see the difference in the concept. This one has the straight sides on the hull, lots of space inside, as we saw on the interior view, whereas the Jagdpanzer 38, the sides of the hull are sloped inwards to accommodate the leaf spring suspension here, which is in pairs along the side. This is all the stuff that was invented during the war, but a Swiss G13 is a completely different vehicle because it doesn't have a Pak 39, a German gun. This gun is a adapted version of the Sturmgeschütz Sturmkannon 40, because Skoda used to manufacture about 70% of those for the Sturmgeschütz program. So after the war they had the facilities and parts left over. So that's a Sturmkannon 40, and when you look inside one of these vehicles, the whole traverse and elevation mechanism is completely different. The recoil cylinders are different, but on the outside it looks more or less the same. But it's important to note, this is Jagdpanzer 4 or Panzer 470 is a fully spec'd German armoured vehicle. This is a replacement for the towed anti-tank guns, the Pak 40s. So what you have here is the industrial capacity in Czechoslovakia being used to produce this mobile anti-tank gun, and the armour, although it is 60mm on the front, it's made from what's known as Siemens Martin armour, which is a less costly procedure, and the side armour is only 20mm Siemens Martin armour, and that's about equivalent to 14mm or 14.5mm of German armour. And at the front, they estimated the 60mm had a value of approximately 30mm of the hard German armour. So that's the difference. You can never have a G13 that's really a Jagdpanzer 38, although in this case this has been nicely done with the roll machine gun put up back on top and other features. And a huge number of the Swiss vehicles that were delivered between 1947 and 49 have these Swiss Sauer engine in them, diesel engine.